My roommate tells me, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. And I respond, okay, where are we sending it? Address? Yeah, explain the joke. It's probably funnier ones I've found. Okay, I bought my friend an elephant for his room. He said, thanks. I said, don't mention it. On this first morning of Rosh Hashanah, I want to not only mention, to talk about the elephant in the room of this community, transition. This will be a year of transition for all of us. And I know that I carry so many feelings of sadness and uncertainty, but also of hope and excitement. And with so much to feel, and so much to think about, and so much to do, it's important for all of us to acknowledge and start managing this transition. How might we do this? I found Bruce Feiler's book, Life is in the Transitions, Mastering Change at Any Age, to be helpful. Feiler spent several years collecting hundreds of life stories in all 50 states from Americans who have been through major life changes. From losing jobs to losing loved ones, from changing careers to changing relationships, from getting sober to simply looking for a fresh start. Among the people he interviews are a CIA analyst who quit to train rescue dogs, a former white supremacist, a physicist who quit their job to dedicate time to their YouTube band Ninja Sex Party, a highly decorated Paralympian, suicide attempt survivors, and General George Patton's granddaughter, who left a life of wealth and prestige to become a nun. Nothing I'm encouraging any of you to do this year. Ever since Gail Sheehy's 1974 classic work Passages, virtually all self-help books assume a linear pattern or progressive stages. You might think of a staircase. In the early part of our years, we climb the stairs until in our middle years, we get to the top of the landing. And in our later years, in this scheme, we descend the other side of the staircase downward into our demise. What Feiler discovered was that we do not actually live in the linear world of the staircase. Rather, we live in a world in which transitions are more frequent and sometimes unexpected. Often these changes, some of which Feiler calls disruptors, take us off course or down a long and winding road. If Feiler is correct, then we should not approach life by measuring ourselves against the high plateau of the metaphorical staircase. That is ultimately a depressor and a losing game. Rather, we should take in the reality that our lives do not chug merrily along some sure path. Instead, we will continue to experience winding turns and obstacles. Our key mission and challenge in life is to learn to master the skills we need to handle the curves in the road, to manage life changes. The idea that we will have one job, one relationship, one source of happiness is, to be rather generous, out of date. We wrap our heads around our life's contours, and then change comes. So we rethink things, our studies, our career, our relationship, our Jewishness. Things we once spurned, we sometimes learn to love and embrace. And as we evolve, we continue to rethink. And sometimes when we sense that the decisions we have made have led us downward, we discover instead that they actually have just led us into a new world of opportunity and purposeful living. We all have upheavals in our lives, and sometimes we veer off course. Filer suggests that we are living our lives out of order. And moreover, what he notices is that virtually every single person he interviewed asserted that at least one aspect of their lives was off schedule, off course, out of sync, or out of order. Filer's interviews and research show that actually each of us may face dozens of disruptors, and that we spend up to half of our lives in unsettled states. I suspect that we ourselves or someone we know is living through such an unsettled state right now, including people in this room. On this Rosh Hashanah, as we reflect upon our lives and on what God might be reviewing in our personal Sefer HaYam, our book of life, and as we consider where we have been and where we want to go, Filer encourages the following. Take a moment, an extended moment, to reflect back on your life. And think of a key transition, or plural key transitions. They could involve home or work or family or health. It may have been something you found unexpectedly easy or something that was challenging to you. But think back on key transitions. And while these scenes are fresh, think about the major theme or through line going through those scenes. It might be an ongoing source of conflict, struggle, or challenge, or if you are lucky, a through line of happiness, resilience, success, or something that might give you pride. Filer suggests that our life's major through lines concern identity, love, work, body, and beliefs. On these holy days, we might forge time to identify and analyze our life's through lines so that we can decide what actions will give our lives more purpose and meaning. So let us use these days of awe to carefully look and closely look at ourselves. What might our children or grandchildren learn from our life and our behaviors? Are there things in our life for which we would like to press a reset button? Filer concludes his book with a story about John, and Filer asked him, "What is the shape of your life?" And John answered, "A winding river." That may sound corny, but there is a Garth Brooks song called "The River" that really made an impact on me. It begins, "You know a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows. And the dreamer's just a vessel who must follow where it goes." That's what I feel like today. And Filer understands. We cannot control the river, even though life is ever flowing. or perhaps because it is ever-flowing and ever-changing, sometimes exasperatingly so. But we must, with Garth Brooks, choose to chance the rapids, dare to dance the tide. Another man whose yahrzeit we recently passed left us great advice on navigating the winding roads and rivers of our lives. You may recall Dr. Viktor Frankl from our significant Jewish book club discussion of his major work, Man's Search for Meaning. That work is considered one of the 100 most important books of the 20th century by the Library of Congress. Fran did a masterful job of presenting this work and explaining Frankl's major theory that asserts that a search for life's meaning is the central motivational force in human life. Frankl's theories became severely life-tested. In 1938, the Anschluss, the Nazi annexation of Austria in 1938, limited his opportunities to treat patients in his private practice. In 1940, he joined Rothschild Hospital, the only hospital in Vienna still admitting Jews, as head of the neurology department. And there he helped numerous patients avoid the Nazi euthanasia program that targeted the mentally disabled. And in 1942, just 9 months after his marriage, Frankl, his wife, and family were sent to Theresienstadt concentration camp. There, his father died of starvation connected to pneumonia. In 1944, Frankl and the surviving members of his family were transported to Auschwitz, where his mother and brother were murdered in the gas chambers. Later, his wife, Tilly, died of typhus in Bergen-Belsen. Frankl spent 3 years in 4 concentration camps. And for all of those difficult years, they seem to reinforce his theory. In shorthand, he teaches everything can be taken from a person except for one thing: the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude and behavior in any given set of circumstances. That when we are not able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. That living means responsibility, taking charge of our actions. And unlike Freud, Adler, Frankl are the 3 pillars, if you will, of Viennese psychiatry. Unlike Freud, Frankl believed in the power of religion. He wrote, "To believe in God is to see that life has meaning." And in fact, after his release, Frankl davened, prayed daily. That itself is worth taking in. Frankl's main tenets of logotherapy are that each person has a will to meaning, can find meaning in transition, and has a freedom of will to change on a dime. A will to meaning. Each of us wants to discover what gives us meaning at any given point in our lives and how we can achieve that meaning. Meaning in transition. Each of us can learn from our experiences, even the difficult ones, maybe especially the difficult ones, to grow, to become resilient, compassionate, and strong. And a freedom of will to change at any instant. We are never actually stuck because multiple options are actually always available to us. Frankl concludes man's search for meaning with the following. We have come to know what humanity is all about. After all, man is that being who created the gas chambers of Auschwitz. However, man is also that being who has entered those gas chambers standing upright, with the words of the Lord's Prayer or Shema Yisrael on their lips. Frankl teaches us that we can live our lives in a way that is directed toward uncovered meaning and purpose, and through courage and a sense of responsibility, direct our lives to those people and ideals that will bring love and make our world a better place. And from Bruce Feiler, we learn that we must insist that the narratives of our lives can turn out well. We must never give up on our dreams and create happy endings. It's in our hands. The close of one chapter, the end of one dream, what was last year, can now compel us to push through the challenge, paddle through the river's torrents, persevere the winding curves on the road, and get through the woods. And we are not alone, for the woods are filled with people like us. Think of our CH family as a beautiful forest, each tree significant but interconnected. Feiler is Jewish and his family is affiliated with a synagogue, but his book does not mention Rosh Hashanah or Jewishness. He didn't have to. The entire book screams out themes and messages of today. What is the high point of your past year? What has been difficult for you, and how do you tend to respond to disruptors? What would you like God to write about you in our book of life at the end of 5784? The Amidah is our central prayer in our tradition. The version we recite on weekday is different from that we recite on Shabbat and that which we recite on high holy days. There's a remarkable blessing in the weekday version, and it begins, Barech Aleinu Hashem Elokeinu et Hashana Hazot. Oh God, bless this year. You would think that that would be much more appropriate for our Rosh Hashanah Amidah. Why would we ask God to make this year great every single day, when even a few months from now, it will no longer be the beginning of the year? And this prayer was actually recited even yesterday morning, although only a few hours remained in the year. Moreover, do we think that God does not hear well or has a faulty memory, that we need to keep repeating this prayer every day so that God takes it in? Well, to me, this blessing makes tremendous sense, because what the year is cannot actually be fully appreciated till we finish the year and look back on it on Rosh Hashanah. Moreover, on any given day, so much life can happen that alters our perceptions and perspective. And finally, by reciting the bracha, we are reminded not only that God is present with us, but that it is not entirely on God to make the year one of blessing. The Hebrew, it states, Barech Aleinu, about us. The blessing is about us, but it is up to us to find it, to uncover it, to reach out for it, to grasp it, and to integrate the blessings into our heart, into our beings. Today on Rosh Hashanah, we transition from who we were last year to the 5784 version of ourselves. We pause to consider the type of person we want to be and how we might respond to the challenges and obstacles that life might put in our path. As we ask God to judge us favorably and to write into our Sefer HaYam, our book of life, may we do everything we can to harness our courage and honesty to assess where we are and where we want to be. And then let us work these days leading to Yom Kippur to reconcile our hearts with both our past and our future so that we can lean better into the present. Rosh Hashanah allows us to figure out how to get out of the woods, to navigate the river, and to dream again. So let us dream another dream and dare to believe that we can manage all of our transitions. And may the journey of this new year 5784 bring us joy, life, meaning, and purpose. Amen. Amen. Let Shana Tova to all of you. Bruchim to you.